You are Locked On Buffaloes POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, it is your Locked On Buffs POSTCAST. Hope everyone is hanging in there in Buff Nation after a tough loss for the Colorado Buffaloes as they fall in unfortunate fashion to the BYU Cougars. Your final score, 24-21. Colorado now 2-3, but maybe most importantly, 0-2 in Big 12 conference play. BYU improves to 4-0 and 1-0 in the Big 12 themselves. Of course, they entered into this game as the 25th ranked opponent. Okay, let's see. We're going to try to bring Kev here. You got me, Kev?
I got you. I'm ready. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, shuffling some stuff around. I'm live from Folsom Field. Obviously, Kevin is live from his home base as well. This is your Locked On Buffs POSTCAST. And, of course, tonight's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. All right. I went on with you earlier this week. Now you're on with me here on the Buffaloes POSTCAST. It was a game, like you and I were both on board with BYU being a tough opponent and whatnot. Some curiosity about Caden Salter. We're talking about turnovers and some other things. But when Colorado goes up 14-zip, I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, I didn't expect this. And I think that's what makes this loss much more frustrating. And Deion Sanders said as much in his post-game press conference as well. Your initial takes from this game, Kev?
Yeah, I thought they blew a perfect opportunity to sort of get the season on track, right? A win over a top 25 team that's one of the best defenses in the country. You put up 14 big ones early, and it was like, oh, great. Like, Colorado's clicking. This is awesome. And then it just felt like they fizzled down the stretch. And it was like, okay, what happened to the confidence? What happened to the swagger? I thought, and I'll get your thoughts on this too, and I don't mean to take over, but the game management and the aggression throughout the game, it disappeared. It evaporated.
Yeah, and it was weird because I was, talking with some colleagues and whatnot, and you saw Caden Salter and you saw the offense look really good out of the gate, and I'm like, is this the script or is this just like what they worked on in practice? And hindsight's always 20/20. It makes it, what we saw with the rest of the game leads me to believe that it was a bit of the script. Obviously, Caden Salter there with the initial score, and then using Draylon Miller in kind of this wildcat running back dual threat kind of role, which Coach Prime did say after the game that will continue to be his role moving forward. Marshall Faulk has embraced that with arms wide open and whatnot. So that's a positive. I mean, Draylon Miller had an incredible game. We'll talk about him as well, but I agree with you. I just think like that lack of killer instinct once again kind of came back to play Colorado. I mean, they gave up that ridiculous 3rd and long play to BYU, which they converted for a first down. Penalties were a big issue tonight, and timely penalties at that.
Yeah, the penalties were killer. I think both pass interference or all 3 pass interference calls were on like 3rd down or 2nd down plays where it's like, oh, you had him dead to rights. This drive could have ended. And it's like, it just felt like Martavius French, the one on the sideline, no effort to turn around. He turned around as the ball was falling, and it's like, okay, it's too late at this point. DJ McKinney, I think his draft stock is taking a hit, if I'm being completely honest. I think he's a first-round talent. But over the last couple of weeks, he's been very, very like handsy and I think over the past 2 games, he has probably 3 or 4 pass interference calls on him, which is very disappointing. But penalties were killer. And I want to get your thoughts on this too. They went away from what was working. Like, it could have been the script, but I do feel like the offense should have rode with more of the run game, more of like whatever Caden Salter was hitting on. Instead, they reverted back to old Colorado stuff. And I was like, why? Continue to do what was working.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I think, like, again, like going up 14 points, like, I think is what makes it so frustrating. And, just like that lack of, like, it seemed like BYU was able to counter, right? Like, BYU came out, put the QB spy on Caden Salter, and it felt like that kind of changed the overall rhythm and flow of this Colorado offense. I mean, we can also get into the splits. I mean, they ran double the amount of run plays they did tonight compared to passing plays. Like, what does that say about Caden Salter and the overall confidence in this passing game? I mean, we didn't hear the name Sincere Brown until like late in the 4th quarter. And you've got Draylon Miller, who is great tonight. But Omarion Miller, as you and I talked about earlier this week, is a guy that's been there and done that for this Colorado Buffaloes team. So I know a lot of people are frustrated and want to point the finger at Pat Shurmur and whatnot, but like the offense, like you're seeing like just how valuable Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter were to this team last year and their ability to kind of make it happen like that.
Yeah, I think to sort of put a bow on this part is just like, you have to be more disciplined, you have to execute, and you have to commit to whatever you think your identity is. I still don't think Colorado knows what it is. We talked about this earlier in the week. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The only reason we were talking about Omarion Miller today is because he had a costly penalty, and that should not be the case, right? He should get 5 to 10 targets a week.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's well said. And let me just pull up these receiver splits here real quick just to kind of paint that picture for the listener out there. I mean, Caden Salter, we talked about the dual threat ability, but only, 11 for 16 for 119 yards, a touchdown, and obviously that brutal interception at the end of the game. But, Joseph Williams, I guess got it going a little bit, the 5 receptions for the 56. Draylon Miller, as we alluded to, really more of an impact as a runner than a receiver today. But I mean, Omarion Miller, 1 catch for 19 yards. Michael Welch, a running back, 1 catch for 9 yards. Sincere Brown, as we mentioned, only 1 catch for 8 yards. He's arguably been the best wide receiver for the Colorado Buffaloes. Like, that's where I'm like, in hindsight, like, why aren't you going to your dogs? Because if you go about it the right way, you have a chance to win this game and steal a game at home in an upset fashion.
Yeah, a totally missed opportunity on offense. It's disappointing all around.
Yeah, no. So we'll see what the Colorado Buffaloes do from here, obviously, moving forward. I want to talk about their defense as well. Let's hit a quick break, get these little commercials out of the way, and then we can have some fun here, Kev and I riffing after an unfortunate loss for the Colorado Buffaloes. Back in just a moment, folks. Let's get the... All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. If I can find their little lower third, where did you go? There you are. All right. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love the most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it, guys. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to get your caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or check them out on Amazon today. And let me also tell you real quick about our friends over at Quo, aka Open Phone, formerly known as Open Phone. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about time and time again, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's Quo, QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you got an existing number with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. And certainly, last but not least, let me tell you real quick about our friends over at FanDuel, because the NFL season is here and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Just visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with our friends over at FanDuel. Plenty of NFL action, plenty of college football action. Make sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffs postcast. Aniello Piro alongside my man Kev. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of all of the good stuff coming out here on the Locked On Buffs YouTube channel, and of course the audio feed as well. A brutal, frustrating 24-21 loss for the Colorado Buffaloes as they now fall to 2-3 on the season. What do you think BYU did, Kev, tonight to get going offensively?
Yeah, they adjusted. They leaned on their young quarterback to run the ball, right? Colorado, and we talked about this, they had to slow down LJ Martin, and I would say that's one of the few positives is LJ Martin went 15 for 58, so they were holding him 3.9 yards per carry. That being said, and I talked about this on my show, is like Colorado did a good job of getting pressure on Bear Bachmeier, but they did not do a good job of bringing him down, right? And like containing him was difficult. And I mean, we saw this with Haynes King, right? The Georgia Tech quarterback who ran for over 150 yards against Colorado. This team struggles with stopping running quarterbacks. And I mean, most teams do. But I think BYU just sort of like leaned into it. It's like, okay, if you're not going to let us run the ball down your throats, we're going to trust our young quarterback to make plays. And he's a Stanford guy. He got into Stanford and was at Stanford for spring ball, but he's Stanford quality smart, right? And so they relied on him, and he made the throws when they needed him to.
Yeah, no, I think it's well said, and I came away really impressed, obviously, with the quarterback Barkmeyer here for BYU and whatnot. True freshman, a guy that you and I, Bear Barkmeyer, we talked about leading up into this game here tonight. I mean, he looked cool, calm, and collected, real poised out there. 19 for 27, 179 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. And, Coach Prime is looking for any answer he could possibly get at the cornerback position. You mentioned DJ McKinney. I'm a DJ McKinney guy, but I don't think DJ believes that he's playing up to the standard that he believes he can play himself. So that on top of kind of this musical chairs at the cornerback position, it's frustrating right now. But I think, the fact that Colorado was able to get out to a lead tonight, and I'm not a silver lining moral victory type of guy, but Kev, I don't know about you. I actually came away I thought the Buffs played better than I thought they would. Like going into this game, I was like, man, this could be like a 20-plus point blowout. It was anything but that. So again, no moral victories, but maybe Colorado, the talent showed up tonight. They just got to learn how to close and play together as a unit. Yeah,
Colorado's been even in the Houston game, really, they've been a couple plays away each game from winning a game or being in a position to win the game. And it's just like, whether it's not capitalizing on being up 14-0 or against Georgia Tech, whether it's not capitalizing on getting 3 turnovers in the first quarter, you have to be able to capitalize on your opportunities. And right now, Colorado's missing that killer instinct. And I don't know how you find that. And I don't know how you develop that. I'm not going to pretend like it's just like something you turn on, but they're missing it. And that's sort of what's killing them right now, because there's certain moments where it's like Tion Parks, for instance, has an opportunity to pick off a pass, and all of a sudden Chase Roberts is running down the field. And I'm like, how did he catch that? I was watching the game on TV and I still don't know how he caught it, right? There's the fumble that Bear Bachmeier, the high snap that they didn't recover. There was that. Right. There was a play where I think it was 3rd and 17 and penalty, right? Colorado had them dead to rights, could have killed that drive. And it's penalty. Colorado just doesn't have that killer instinct to finish teams, or at least put themselves in position to put that team in the coffin. And I don't know how they figured that out, but they got to.
Yeah, no, and I mean, obviously, it doesn't really get much easier here moving forward for Colorado. You're going to take on TCU. I know they had a tough game on Friday night as well, but, this is a game, kind of looking at the schedule, right? The Big 12's kind of in a funky spot, but you got at TCU, then you come home against Iowa State, and then you got Utah and whatnot, so you're really looking at the next 3 games as a mixed bag. I'm not going to sit here and say Colorado's going 3-0. I think there's a much better chance they go 0-3 over the course of those 3 games. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but they've got a lot to clean up. And you and I talked about the injuries this week as well. So hopefully they get some guys back, some reinforcements and whatnot. But I think again, to use that word frustrating, which Coach Prime kind of harped on, it's not about talent. They have talent. Coach Prime even came out and said, we were the more talented team. It's just a matter of it kind of coming together and gelling and whatnot. Caden Salter evolving as a leader was a big theme in the postgame tonight as well. All of that needs to come together. Now, I'm not, waving the red flag on this Colorado Buffaloes team, but let's see. And we heard from Tafik Byard as well. He was asked the question of is this kind of a stepping stone game for you? And he disagreed with that question, but he and the rest of the players in that locker room are very much in tune of we have the guys to do it. We just got to go out there and execute. And that's where I'm wondering where they go back to the drawing board now next week against TCU.
Yeah, and I think the hard part about Colorado's schedule is you mentioned the gauntlet already. They don't get a bye week until around they go through this gauntlet of 3 ranked teams, possibly 4, and it's then you get a bye week, right? It's a tough scenario. It's disappointing. I think Caden Salter's leadership abilities, I'm actually questioning him, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of finger pointing with him. There's a quote that Scott Proctor over at DNVR shared, and it says, having to sit a game kind of messed up my head a little bit. And he says he's trying his best. And it's why are we still on that? You started last week, you did good. You were the leader. Everyone was supporting you. And we talked about, I did an episode about this earlier in the week. They had a meeting with him and all the offense staff, hey dude, you are not doing what you need to do behind closed doors, right? And it's I don't know what is not clicking for Caden Salter. I don't know if he thought he'd just roll up and be great, but I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about his leadership role on this team.
Yeah, and look, I think they're going to stick with Caden Salter. I don't think we'll see Juju Lewis till after the bye unless things completely go awry, but I don't think you want to throw Juju into the fire against TCU, against, Utah and some of these other upcoming games as well. So it's the Caden Salter show, but I do think like he looks better in the last couple of games than he did in the first game against Georgia Tech. And of course, that bizarre situation against Delaware as well. So we'll have to monitor that situation moving forward. But yes, folks, it is a frustrating loss for the Buffs tonight as they fall to BYU 24-21. Kev, I know you got plenty of content coming out on the channel, but for now, any closing thoughts you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, if this Colorado team doesn't figure it out, they're not going to be going bowling. Right. This is sort of where we're at with this team. Like they have to figure something out. Otherwise, they're going to be a sub 500 team, and that's not what gets it done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm curious to see how they get back to the drawing board. Coach Prime preached about practice and being better in practice and challenging guys and hoping that they can rise to the occasion. We'll see if that can come to fruition. But the reality of the situation is right now a brutal loss tonight against BYU, and the Colorado Buffaloes are winless in the Big 12 and 2-3 on the season as a whole. All right, Buff Nation. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button on your way out the door for more content from Kevin and myself. My man, appreciate you big time. We'll do it again soon, and hopefully good times are coming for the Colorado Buffaloes. Have a good night, folks.